we'll be going through my 20 favorite webtoons. I have a shout out and an honorable mention. So there's 22 here. But just to preface before I hop in, right? I always say this just because I know that sometimes this is a misconception that a lot of people have, right? Recall that a webtoon is not specifically like a comic book online from Korea, because people think that if it's not like a Tower God or Kubera or something, like those are webtoons. Webtoons are anything. Webtoons could be a web comic. So like if I decide to make my own website and publish my work on there, that's still a webtoon, a web comic, whatever you want to, however you want to describe it. So don't forget that just because it's not a line or a naver doesn't mean that it's not a webtoon. Webtoons come in all shapes and sizes. Just a preface, because some people actually don't know that. So
A little something like eeny, meeny, rap from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea. Ask me to hit it. Watch a nigga black super yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie. Perfume is Fendi. Bobbin' move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. Just 'cause I'm pretty. Came from the dirt. Shovel up a nigga can't handle the work. Ooh, y'all, swing with it first. Young white girl like a ramble.
let's not forget that. So we will start with my honorable mention here, which is looking for group. This one. So looking for group. Looking for group is something my friend Alan put me on a couple of years ago. Actually, I'm not sure how long I've been reading Looking for Group. I actually haven't read it in a couple of years, but it's just one of those fun little quick comics where like it's high fantasy. They do just little fun stuff. Like it's nothing crazy like that, right? Manhwa are like Korean comics, yes. Webtoons are from any place, right? Yeah. So generally, like if me and you decided to create something that's like a graphic novel that we put online, it'd be a webtoon, webcomic, whatever. So yeah, but yeah, manhwa are Korean comics. Manhwa is Chinese, I believe, and then manga, Japanese, comics, American, if you will. So yeah, there's actually a term I think manhwa for French manga for like Radiant, stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, looking for group. By the way, so when when I was making this list, okay, I went through I've been reading webtoons for about 11 years, since like Noblesse was really popular. And when I was going through my list, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Most of the series that I really want to put here were smut. Like smut series be moving me. Like the Korean smut one, the porn was like that's what be moving me. So that's like those are on here. That's all I'm saying. Like so it's not just gonna be like, I got some kinky stuff here, but I didn't use wild ass images because YouTube and Twitch would probably get me the F out of here. But let's go to number 20. So number 20 is She Is Young. She Is Young is a mature mature webtoon where basically I can't remember the main character's name, honestly. I don't remember anyone's name in this, but the main character essentially, he is older. It's like probably in his 30s if I remember correctly, or maybe he's in his late 20s with his girlfriend or fiance, wife, whatever. And basically for some reason, the 18-year-old version of his wife or girl, she like appears and is now a part of his life. So it's like he's kind of like still like he still cares about the more mature version of his girlfriend, but here's like the young hot version of the girl that he will end up being with. And then with these stories, just love, drama, infidelity, or whatever, and all kinds of crazy yandere chicks and stuff like that. So it's really like good. Yeah, once we got here, as long as they be moving me, they be hitting. I'm addicted. I can't. So here's another one that I think is interesting called Saint Ferrant. This is let me actually highlight it a bit. So that's not both. Come on now, not both. Come on now, not both. Come on now. We gonna get it, boys. We gonna get it. Hey yo, highlight what I want, bitch. I hate it here. This is racism. Oh my god. Okay, I tried. Anywho, Save for Rent to me is really interesting because it has like an interesting concept. And you see here that like it's a GIF, like it's moving. And this was the first webtoon I ever read that actually had like moving panels. So I remember there's like a panel where a person attacks and like a person flips over it, and it actually like blew me away back in like 2013, whenever 2014, whenever it was. Because I was like, wait a minute, why don't more people do this? Like implement GIFs after panels to just somewhat show a bit of animation through your comic. That's really dope. The concept of this, honestly, I think is really cool. It's basically a inn, like a hotel for time travelers. So the main character basically owns this inn that I guess is divorced from like time and space, and the people who come to that inn to stay and like rest their head or whatever, they're all time travelers. So the time travelers inn. So like it's really, I think it's pretty cool. I haven't read it in a while. I don't know if he's still updating this and everything, but I'll let you guys know in a second but yeah, it's cool. But yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing now. Yeah, it is a thing actually. I think Room of Swords does it. Online webtoon. I don't remember I used to read it, but there's a couple online I think that do it now. But Saint for Rent was the first that I seen do it, and I really enjoyed that. So shout out to that. You guys can already kind of see Bastard. So yeah, I like Bastard. Bastard was a fun time. It was about this guy and his dad that he didn't like and everything, but I like the horror element to it. I like how like eerie and off-putting a lot of the images are. And it's just a Mojo Mokel. It's just like really quick. I don't think it's that long actually. But if you like Sweet Home, this is the same person. I believe it's the same creative team or person that made Sweet Home. I believe the artwork is the same. I don't quote me on that. I'm like very confident. It looks almost the same, but yeah, if I'm wrong, my bad. But I like Sweet Home too. Just so you guys know. But Bastard is really good, really fun. If you really kind of like eerie, off-putting, kind of like, you know those art like Sundome. You know how Sundome is like really off-putting sometimes, but it's still like, yeah, I like that. Bastard was read in one night. Amazing webtoon. I feel that it was really good. Sweet Home, good start, ending. Yeah, Sweet Home. Yeah, but I remember Bastard being one of the first. I think the first thing I learned about not Fast Pass. What's it called? Daily Pass, because I think it's completed. And I was like, bro, what? So I read what was online, and then let's just say I put the straw hat on, and we'll leave it at that. But so that's number 18. Let's move on to number 17. I probably should have this higher, but I just didn't want to go too crazy because there's only like 2 volumes that I read. But this is it's called I Roved Out in Truth and Love, right? This is a high fantasy medieval like smut series. Like it's made by this guy named Alexis Flower, I believe. I actually think he's Canadian. I believe he's Canadian because when I paid for the volumes and whatnot, I didn't have to pay shipping or handling or anything. Like it just came at whatever price, and I'm pretty sure it was in Canadian dollars. Yeah, it's got orcs, elves, anything you could think of. Gorgons, whatever the case is, and just like it gets spicy, it gets nice. I think what's cool about it is that it's one of those series that kind of reminds me a bit of this BDSM comic that I read called Sunstone, where the characters kind of explore who they are on the inside and what they do and do like through like the promiscuity. Let's just put it that way. Fantasy smut, yeah. Hey, you put me on. I ran through all of them. Yeah, right. It is. Gotta support your country. I feel it. Yeah, I liked it. It is the MC Top one. Yeah, she's so. Oh my goodness. I will talk about it one day because we have to have a proper like late night after dark like smutwa stream, henty stream, if you will. We'll get there. But yeah, I love I Roved Down in Truth and Love. It's really dope. Windbreaker I have at 16. Windbreaker I got into the same time that I got into Yao Mushi Pedal. I was like, oh, like biker, like Tour de France type beat of a story. That's very interesting. Like, I mean, let me get into it. Unfortunately, I think this series does end up suffering from something I think most webtoons suffer from, which is like it gets all these moments where it feels like there's a lack of focus, lack of direction, and just like things just be happening, characters just be doing stuff, and I guess that's slice of life. And if you're cool with that, you're cool with that. But like I'm here for like the swag, the drip, the rawness, and like biking, the racing, right? I'll be honest. The only reason that is as low as it is because I haven't read it in like 2 years. So it's been a while since I've read it. Or else I'd probably have it higher because I was highly enjoying this in Yamushi Pedal for whatever reason. So definitely give Windbreaker a try, but I do think it suffers from that like, oh my god, nothing is happening. Like, so. H-Mate. What is the general synopsis for this one again? I had to put a heart there because Titty was out. But H-Mate I like because H-Mate, if I remember correctly, these two are like childhood friends or close friends, and basically they become household friends. But the guy really likes her, and she be doing her thing, and then things get complicated as a result of obviously he lives with a girl who is doing her own thing, but he actually likes her. But they do end up in a relationship, and then things, it gets testy. You know how this love drama gets in these series. I like the artwork. I like how he draws the girls in here. They think they. I'll be tweaking. I'm gonna hold y'all. I'll be tweaking. So, definitely give H-Mate a try. I think it's one of my favorite. One of the ones that I think are one of the better Smut series, but. Sometimes I won't lie to you. I will rate a Smut solely based off the art, and this is one of the art styles that I like the most. Yummy! This man nice said, screw the plot, I'm trying to see something else. If you know one thing about me, I love romance, but I can't do that shoujo like, nice senpai, and she like blush and run away. It's like, bro, I need to see her back get blown out. I'm not trying to read this. I am not trying to read it otherwise. So, yeah, shout out though. We need segs, exactly. Like I wanted to put Sports Girl on here, but Sports Girl really is just like an anthology of different like scenarios. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go, Vince. Let me get him in here. If you up and ready, bro. I have to start, dog. I have to start, bro. But yeah. Shout out to H-Mate, man. Lookism, I have a 14. I think Lookism has a really cool message. You guys have heard me say before that I think one of the things we don't do enough in these series is oh, what's up? It's Raijin, my guy. I've been well, bro. I've been well, man. My break was good, and I'm back, replenished, making this content. We here, man. Yeah, Lookism I like because I think I like the lessons it imparts about like not judging a book by its cover. Just because somebody's ugly doesn't mean they're invaluable. You shouldn't be mean to people just because they don't have money and things like that. And the whole dichotomy of like basically the main character is this like really undesirable, poor, fat, dumb, unathletic dude. And for some reason he wakes up in like this gorgeous, beautiful, splendid Korean boy body that got hands, athleticism, all that kind of stuff. And then people start to treat him a lot better, and he gets a lot of attention and stuff like that. But then, he still kind of can switch between both bodies. He's not divorced from the other one, but he's treated differently when he's in the other body. And I think that the lessons that it imparts about kind of like tolerance and not just like being so superficial, I think is really dope. Unfortunately, again, this is one of those webtoons that I think suffers from a complete lack of direction a lot of the times, where like nothing be happening. We're just here to be here, and it'd be annoying. This is a problem that I think a lot of these type of webtoons tend to have, where I think if you don't really know what to do with it, you should just probably not call it quits, but just wrap it up. Wrap it up. But yeah. Say go to Discord. All right, I'll hop in. I'm in boardroom. Brother Vince.
Yo.
What it do, baby?
You a sick bastard, but we here.
I had to start, bro. I had to start.
Nah, this is sick. This is different, but we here.
Where your list at? You put it on Twitter, right?
Yeah, it's on Twitter, man.
Give me a sec. They got 350 chapters on that Lookism. Really? That's that many? Holy crap!
I told you.
You did tell me that actually. Someone did tell me that. Oh my god.
It's too many.
That series just has no business going on that long.
Exactly. It don't got no reason.
Let me just grab his list. Oh, that's crazy. I did not know it like that. Why don't I see our thingy?
Hold on, I'm looking. I'm trying to go grab it. Okay, just look at the force.
Oh, there it goes. I did it. It's popping up. I have to refresh. No, I know like 6'3". That message ain't for you, Playboy. I didn't say the message was for me. I said it's a good message. That's all I said. That's all I said, bro. Y'all love to boost my height up. I'm not 6'3". I'm 6 even. I'm 184 centimeters. Kyle be calling me 6'8", pure muscle, no body fat. Like, bro, cut it out. Cut that out. All right. So you want to start with sports, girl? 20. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, you
Or or,
basically
or,
already
or,
cut it.
or your honorable mention. Sorry. You can.
Oh, okay. So honorable mention, I wanted to put a lot because we don't talk about webtoons too often, so I had to throw as many as I could. Like
What's
I'm
up?
like
What's up,
I felt
Ezra?
like deserted, but there.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So Unholy Blood, cool vampire story. Main character, she bad as fuck. All right, age matters. It's a basic romance, but it looks nice. FF Trash Hero. It's just fun. That's mostly why it's there. I don't even think it's like super, super, super great, but it's hilarious. So, and I don't laugh very often at too many like manga, webtoon type days. Normally, I'm more likely to laugh if it's like an anime or something like with visuals and voices. But that made me laugh. So, Kill the Hero.
So shouts out.
Kill the Hero. It's kind of in that same mold as Solo Leveling, some of that, but it's a little lesser, but still a little bit different. Dice. That's the very first webtoon I read, so I felt like
I
I gotta.
remember. I remember the Dice era. I thought that shit was so cool. I thought it was so like a too cool concept, and it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't want to end. I'm like, bro, wrap it up. Oh my god.
yeah. It's still going. I think too. My good lord, it might be over now. I don't know, but I think it's still going. Um, the boxer. It's an interesting sports series. I don't see too many webtoon sports series, so like it's interesting. I think it got like still
I think Milio's
the
in as well.
potential to raise higher, so that's why it's on here. And mercenary enrollment because he's about a boy who trying to live a normal life, even though he was a mercenary. So all right, so Sports Girl is on there mostly because its uniqueness, and like you said, it being an anthology series, and that's the very first of any kind of that I've ever seen in like this style of media. So it's mostly on here for that reason. The art is super fire though. At the same time, we know what
Hello,
it is though.
Just fine. What's up? Sorry, keep going.
We know why we here. It's a smut. What number you on?
I am on, I think, 15. So
All right, so I'll just speed through. It's a little on my list anyway, and we got some seven. Like you got She Is Young on your list. I don't think you got to it yet, but Rebirth. Rebirth is a interesting concept because it has time powers and it's also about zombies at the same time. So it's like superpowers and zombies
what
mixed
maybe?
together.
It's interesting.
So, so yeah. So I'm like, this is one of the most interesting things I read, and I think it pulls off the concept relatively well. So it is something I recommend for at least everybody, at least to try. I think the main character, like, he starts off kind of like a bad person, but then when he gets a chance to redo it, he turns to a better person. So he tries to take better care of his kids and stuff like that. And the kids have good designs too. So I think that a lot of these designs are good too. His wife stinks though. uh, Solo Leveling, y'all know what it is. Y'all know why y'all here. The only good thing about Solo Leveling though is the main character. It kind of falls off in the second half of this story, so can't go higher than that. But we know what we were there for. She Is Young. I don't want to explain too much about it, but She Is Young, I think it's a very good romance and slash smut.
Yep.
Cause you got higher than me, so I'm gonna wait. But I think I
No,
actually
I
think it's
haven't.
one of the.
I already talked about it. I had it lower than you.
Oh, you did? Okay, never mind then. Well, I don't need to explain too much. And so we're on 15.
Yeah.
So the beginning after the end. Okay, so the beginning after the end is to me kind of like what everybody kind of thought like Soul Leveling is for me. Like the art's really good. It's a rebirth story. There's a lot of these in Webtoon. We all know about that. But beginning after end, it's just to me, it's just like it's really interesting. The main character I think has a pretty good balance because like he's overpowered, but at the same time, the story tries to not treat him too overpowered,
Mm-hmm.
and it spends a lot of time with the I think the for these type of reincarnation stories, it spends a lot of time with the character interaction and world building effects too. So that's why I have it at this. And it's something I recommend. So
I feel it. Was watching Kubera discussion on YouTube and heard God of Night for Ferratry. Damn it line. I don't even read it online no more. I read it on Babel Kim's. Did they get that wrong? Is she not the God of the Night? Because we're talking about Ushas and Ratri, right? So
no, maybe it was me because I did. I was switching back and forth when around this time. So who knows? Maybe I got it wrong. I'll go back to Bible Kim though, because they caught up. They caught all the way caught up.
yeah,
Right? Yeah, because I'm like, because line is at 108
I believe
something.
that is
Yeah.
the case. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know this is like this layout not hitting like that, but it is what it is.
Whatever. We could go.
All right, so actually I was on 14. My bad. I didn't
Oh,
because of
okay.
do one more.
So 14 for me is Nano's list.
Mhm.
So Nano list, this is that around 15, 14. This is
I
different
should
where it was where I'm
I
just
should have
like
this. Yeah, there you go.
where I think everybody should at least attempt to read this. If you're trying to get somebody to Webtoon or you're trying to get in a Webtoon, I think like this is the starter list for me where you start trying them. So Nano list, uh I don't want to say too much. I don't want to like. It's really hard to talk about some of the stuff I spoil. But the main character is like Milo,
Mhm.
and his sister basically is a mega genius, and she basically helped create like these androids. But she also created a whole bunch of androids that are weapons. She gave him a birthday gift, and now he lives with two androids because with birthday given the android, but also the android is like a super valuable weapon.
Ooh.
So I think the art's pretty good. I think it's an interesting story just in general. It got fights. It
Got
got
fight.
yeah. Both of the androids are like bad bitches, and so yeah,
Can't go wrong with
it's
that.
definitely different. Yeah, can't go wrong.
Okay. So, yeah, because 14 is what I just did last. I just did Lookism. So let's talk about Gosu. Gosu.
Oh, okay. I got this higher than you, but
I honestly think I should have this higher, but sometimes with certain lists when you make it and you're just like, listen, this being one or two, like it don't bother you that much. You're just like, it's not a big
right,
deal.
right, right.
Like it's just one of those ones where, because I think I should, I do think I like honestly Gosu and the next one. I think I like more than my 11, but it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I'm not really tripping.
Gotcha. I rated this pretty higher than I thought it would, but I think part of that is because it's over. It finally ended.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I do think that helps to some degree. But the thing about the Gosu that I really like is a couple of things. If you guys should know that if you don't know this, it's part of the Yongbi universe. Yongbi the Invincible, a manhwa that came out a couple years before. Actually, I think it has two series, isn't it? I don't remember if there's another one, but Yongbi because Yongbi's in it and everything, right? So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Gosu is kind of like a sequel to that, but it takes place all in the same universe. So if you actually want the full scope of this world and continuity, you'd have to also read Youngbi. But I still think you could probably still read Gosu and enjoy it. But obviously, if you have that added foreknowledge, you could enjoy it on a deeper level. But I guess you could also go backwards. I don't know if anyone's read Gosu and gone back to Youngbi and still had a really great time. I couldn't tell you, but
No, it's me mostly. Yeah, cause I started with Gosu and then I had to go back because it was like I didn't know that until you told me. You were the one who told me that. Cause I'm just reading it. I'm just like, oh look at this, got these old people in it, like and then you're just like, oh actually that's down. I'm just like, oh
yeah, I feel it. Yeah, Niall's list has a nice story with a clean ending. I'm gonna check out that out. It sounds interesting. Martial arts supremacy goes to go. The Youngbi's one of the funniest. I think Youngbi is funny. Sensei, my guy, what's good? I'm alright, bro. I'm just chilling, man. I had my break. I'm replenished. I'm back. I'm ready to make some content, brother. Hope all is good. But y'all know how remember my anti meathead arc. I turned all that off for Gosu. I said, bro, these are elite hands, fam. Like the way that they fight in Gosu to me is so great. I think this is in terms of webtoons with combat, I think Gosu probably has the best choreography
yeah,
on
that's
average.
right.
You may not necessarily always be as engaged, but like his name's so young. I can't remember his name. The swordsman guy. His fights are always crazy because like the fates. You think you slice somebody, but he dodges it and whatnot. And what this creative team does that I really like when like I think they have a really good grasp of momentum, like spinning to add like force and torque to your attack. Like somebody will like spin and like do a slash attack, and I just think that the way they draw and actually like create that fluid momentum, I just haven't seen anything like that on Webtoons. Like it's great, man. It's great. Let's go. Love to hear it. Yeah, man. We here. God of High School has a elite. Now, I'm not saying other series don't have great hands, but like it's specifically the way that I think that they portray like momentum, spinning, torque, and things of that nature that really gets me, because I don't think I've ever seen it like that. But yeah, bro, Gosu's lit. Need them to finish something for Young B? That'd be great. Okay, welcome back, brother. So yeah, oh man, Spark will go crazy. Like you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you know when Dumpling Boy be spinning, he does like a palm strike. I'm like, that looked perfect. Like that, like I saw him stomp, spin, strike, and it felt like one fluid motion. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, I think what goes through too is just like it's sometimes like what God of High School and stuff like that. I really like the beginning of God of High School, but then as far, and I'm not even talking about story, just because that's a whole nother thing. But it's always like the level, because I don't like it when the level of scaling gets too big with some of these fights. I think Ghost 2 is like kind of like the really good balance between hand to hand, but also just like they just destructive. The land is just destroying the landscape and stuff like that. So yeah.
So like, I don't know. I love it, but I gotta say one last thing. Jin Gal Young, the white jade martial empress, she be moving me, bro. She bad. First time I seen her drink her little like sake thing, I said, yeah, I'm in. I'm in, and she cold. And she got hands, so that's so shout out to her. All right, what's your 13?
My 13 is Noblesse.
My first.
So I don't.
My Webtoon virginity.
It wasn't my first, but this was the very first thing I thought from a Webtoon perspective that was raw. Because every character design is amazing. They rarely missed on a character design. I love vampires, so that's easy. And the main character, it was funny because I always thought it was going to be like when you're reading this story, you always think it's going to be these kids. Because you start off with like kids and stuff like that. You're like, nah, the main character is a 820-year-old vampire. And Frankenstein, we both agree Frankenstein is one of the best characters, regardless of anything, but definitely in Webtoons. What an amazing character. My boy Rai, he is great. Sierra, he's always looking elegant. Yeah. Yep.
Dr. Cromwell, bunch of raw niggas.
Yeah. So, the only problem with this, obviously, why it's not higher, you know why? It's very formulaic. Like they I ain't never seen something just not deviate from the formula. Like he's not even. He's like, you know what it is.
You know what you're here for. If you're here for anything else or anything more, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Noblesse sounds definitely gonna go on my Webtoon reading list. I really like Webtoon. Webtoon. Wow. Noblesse. Noblesse was like the very first Webtoon I ever read, and I thought it was beautiful. Even at the very beginning, and even as the art style changed, evolved, and grew, I still thought it looked really good. I think the combat's great. I mean, this is yours. I'll speak about.
No, you gotta go ahead, cause we both got it. So it's all good.
Noblesse, ew. I'm not mad at that. One thing, I enjoy Noblesse, but like I don't like put my cape on and let it flow and tell you it's the greatest thing in the world. Like it's always gonna hold a place in my heart because it's the very first one I ever experienced. So.
Right.
Then I think it was God of High School, or then the Gamer, Dice. Tower Goddish, like those are like the first couple of ones.
Gotcha.
Okay, so my 12 is Hardcore Leveling Warrior, Lucky Coin Syndicate, Big Ethan. Yes, sir. Okay, now let's talk about this because
Okay, we both got this on our list. I got this 2 slots higher.
Like, what I am not a humongous fan of these MMORPG and game like stories. So like think like Dot Hack Sign, think
Sword Art Online.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that one. I couldn't remember that
Yeah,
one.
I got you. I got you. I
Um,
got you.
there's another one
Like
that there's another one that's pretty big. Log Horizon, like
Lock Horizon, over. Yeah, a lot of these like
Axel
and
World, whatever, like the ones
yeah,
where you kind of
yeah,
blend the game and stuff, whatever, right? All
yeah.
like there usually comes a point where this they just don't be moving me no more. Like I don't really care about them no more. And like this is my favorite version, my favorite series that kind of embodies those gamey tropes and whatnot. Like this is my favorite version of it. I think Lucid Adventure, Lucid Dreaming is pretty cool. I like the concept of it. I think Ethan is a really cool main character in my opinion because of, how I always say in Webtoons, a lot of these Webtoons, the MC tends to be broken in some aspect, whether they're just the
Mhm.
strongest. They're the strongest, but they don't know it. They're the strongest, but they're holding back. They're the strongest, at the most potential, whatever. And like he was the best at the game at some point. And even though what happened to him happened, the fact that he has all the knowledge and skills and the experience and the wisdom of how he got to number one, you see that even though he's not like doesn't have all his gear and everything. And I love how he thinks the game. I actually think him being like basically a coin flipper gambler, like and how like that could like work against you is really cool. I think it comes up with really dope strategies, and I actually really enjoy the scene and everything. And I think the characters are cool. I think the concept is cool. And I always said with these type of games, I think the punishment for death in the game has to be reasonable. If it's not a big deal, then dying doesn't mean anything. If it's too much, like if you die, you die and you die forever, that's too. It's too much. I think it's too much of a consequence. I always found that this had the right balance. It's not like you like
Yeah, I agree.
die and you never wake up again, but it's like you go back to level one, so you still have an incentive to like not die in the game. I think that's like the
Yeah,
perfect middle ground of a punishment for losing. So yeah,
yeah. I also think it factors in the real world really well.
yep.
That's always one of my favorite parts. It does a really good job of balancing the
And doesn't
game.
run
What's
from it
going on?
because Ethan's life is not great in the real world, and this game
Yeah,
is somewhat an escape from that. Yep, totally right. The president, that guy, and everything, that was all great, 100%.
yeah. So that's fire. The side characters are a lot more interesting than they normally would be in something of this style.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he got his two party members, but even everybody else that's not a part of that main group, they do a pretty good job of at least
Sora,
keeping them in.
Dark,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, was his name Drip Soup?
yeah. I think
Whew,
something
they
like
had
that.
some cold ass days, bro.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
you can't, your name can't be that. So like, yeah. I mean, let me see what chat's saying real quick. Gambling goat, sort of online walk, so hardcore leveling work or run. Hardcore leveling warrior, I love part one, but I haven't part two. I like part one a lot more right now. I'm not all the way caught up, but yeah, hardcore leveling warrior is a little, I love Hardcore Leveling Warrior, but the second season fell off hard in my opinion. I'm not mad at that. Speaking of Hardcore Leveling Warrior, it's a spin-off of the series based off the Lucid Adventure world. It's called X and Ash. Check it out. A lot of fun reading it. Okay. I did not know that. I did not either. Imagine if they made a Dark Souls webtoon. Just a thought. They probably There's probably a dark fantasy medieval webtoon. I don't even know. I don't really thought about it. Probably. I can't even think of it if I really even think about it. There's the Ember Knight, which smells ashes. Okay. The character from Hardcore Level Warrior showed up. Okay, that's interesting. I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I like it. It's not blowing my mind, the greatest thing ever, but it's cool. I like it. All right,
Mm-hmm,
Vince,
mm-hmm.
number 12.
Oh, 12 for me. I'm the Grim Reaper. So I'm the Grim Reaper is basically about a girl named Scarlet,
Mm.
and she died, and she went to hell, and the devil was like, "Hey, listen. You were terrible in your life, so guess what? Now you got to work for me. You're a Grim Reaper now. Go up there and catch some sinners, so that way your punishment down here ain't gonna be as bad." So, and I think it is a very interesting story, and it asks you a lot about like morality, basically. And I'm a sucker for anything like that. Anything that asks you kind of like who's right and who's wrong. Like for example, there's a certain character here who's pretty important. He's a cop, but he ain't a normal cop. He's not a crooked cop from the standpoint like he's stealing, and he like sludging cases, but like it kind of forces you to ask, it's like, is he a good person? Because he's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And Scarlet, her whole thing is that her memory is gone. So like she's in hell and she's been forced to be a Grim Reaper, but she don't even remember what she did to get here. So
I like the
it's
art.
interesting.
I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
reading it.
I think you would like it. I don't think it's like the most. You probably won't think the most star spangled thing
Mm-hmm.
ever, but like, no, I think you would like it a lot. And that's another thing I recommend to everybody. The
Mm-hmm.
Grim Reaper's designs are pretty cool. I think the fights have gotten better as they've progressed throughout the series. And it's a pretty, it's character focused, but like I said, also it also got some mystery to it because you try to figure out what her memory, what she did, and it got some moral debate. So I got all the three things that I would like in a series. So that's why I rate it pretty highly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's 12.
Go ahead and do 11 right now. Might as well.
Oh, okay. 11 for me is Lookism. Uh, Lookism. I like what the core of the story, the message is supposed to be. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
I like the character interactions. It can be pretty funny, but like my biggest gripe with this series is obvious. It's been going on far too long for my taste. Like I said, I agree with you. This should not be 350 plus. I feel that is a weakness of most webtoons, especially if it's slice of life oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, come on, guy. Like, do we really need 350? As much as I find these characters funny, like the way the levels of it, you think Curry Gone wrote this, the way we going into interweave, trying to interweave everybody's storyline and connected them and stuff like this. I'm like, this is a slice of life, bro. Like, and not even a fantasy one. This is like regular school with some elements of some certain stuff here and there. But other than that, though, I do think that you would enjoy it for the most part. So I still got to give it its credit because definitely one of the first better ones that I definitely read. I don't know if it'll be here this high next year. It'll still probably be in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
But I stopped reading webtoons for like the past 2 years or anything new other than Kubera. So it's at 11.
I
It
feel
used to
that.
be higher than this.
I kind of
But
lost faith in long fantasies, but Kubera left some light in there. Yeah, they trying to get like Kurigam. They're not. They not Kurigam. They're not built for this. She built different. She built better, stronger, faster. Okay, back to me. I need to see how this looks because I probably made it bigger. My bad. Yeah, move it back here a little bit. Okay, so I have Unordinary at 11.
yeah, I got it on my list too, but it's 3 spots higher.
Yeah, Unordinary is cool, man. I don't. I'm trying to think of what I want to really say about Unordinary. I haven't. I've only read the first, the first chapter since she's come back from her
Oh,
season two
good
hiatus.
lord.
But listen. I think it has some good life lessons in there. I think it has some good characters, some good concepts and stuff like that. It's just the John thing was going off for so long.
Oh,
Whatever. I just
brother.
think I just haven't. I still
I
haven't.
understand.
I just haven't fully recovered from it. Like I think I think I need
You
to
ain't never gonna recover.
bite the bullet and get into it. I like it though. It's a cool series, man. It's fine. But I actually think I should have this at 13. I think I like hardcore leveling and go super more than like Unordinary. I don't think you should be at 11, just personally speaking. But that's all I'm gonna say about that for now.
All right, so an ordinary, it's the superhero, well, not superhero, super powered slice of life high school story, but the main character makes it's gonna end up for probably most of you making you challenge how you feel about likability and him going about it, and also the story that touches on mental illness, the government, right and wrong, ethics, morals, all that, and oh, the hierarchy. That's a big thing in this story.
Yeah,
So I really
it's a
like this
very
story
might
for a
makes
lot,
right world.
and I like this story a lot for a lot of those reasons. Uh, I like John. I like Sarah. I like Arlo to an extent.
Doctor
Uh,
Darren, come on now. Don't
I
forget.
like I love you love Dr. Dare.
Exactly.
You
Don't forget to
can't
go.
you yeah, Sarah's sister, gotta love her.
Lila, I think.
Lila, yeah. I don't like Blake or Blake, but almost everybody else I like. So yeah.
Unordinary snooze, Kubera the best. Unordinary is overrated. We hit it. What's up, Mensa? Unordinary went through a rough Arkansas. Hopefully, I like that they color Cove the speech bubbles, but man, does it drag on? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the biggest weakness of this webtoon, if you want to say a weakness, because to me, if you're looking at an ordinary through the lens, I'm not even gonna say the lens you're supposed to, but I think if you're looking through the right perspective, there's a lot to gain from reading this story. I think it tells you a lot of important things. I think for the most part, the character like they're extreme as far as how often people get beat up, but it like I think it does a pretty interesting job from a slice of life perspective, because normally everything from a slice of life perspective gets resolved in ways that I feel like in a lot of ways are not always realistic, or they're taking the path to the least amount of like resistance. And Ordinary doesn't do that, because you shouldn't. Not every slice of life should be like everybody's all, hunky dory and they all get along. Now, obviously, the biggest problem with an Ordinary, not why it's not ranked higher, as it should be, because I used to have this a lot ranked higher. It completely drags its point, like too much. Like you could have like skipped 20 chapters at some point, and the same thing is happening.
The table. I will say basically it's like she basically there's a table and she hammered the nail in, and the nail's already in place, but she's still hammering it like we get the point.
Yeah. I forgot how you said it exactly. I let you tell it. Yeah. That's her biggest problem, and I think a lot of slice of life doing
shout Zeke. Top 5. Shout Zeke. Top 5.
Yeah, because I think Lookism has this problem too, and kind of Windbreaker too, that I'll talk about soon. But they all kind of fall into the same problem, where it's just like, bro, we kind of know what the point of this story is, and like you just keep going. That's why I don't think, honestly, my personal opinion, and this is like I'm probably the only one who has this opinion because I created it like this. But like for me, romance stories and or slice of life stories, unless you have a very, very specific, really good like type of interweaving or something going on, should not go past like 200 chapters. Just shouldn't.
I agree with that for the most part. Because how long was Good Ending?
Yeah, it's like 130, I think, something like that. And I'm like, yeah, see, that's 200 chapters, that's enough to do everything you want to do. Like, honestly, like you start getting the 300s for this, what are we doing? But like Unordinary, see, at least it got like something else going on, and that's finally going on, so it's like being back to being better. But yeah, it just got a rough stretch in the middle of the second season. Like, just be honest, even though I knew it was coming because I knew what it was gonna touch on, but like nah. But all right, we good now.
I don't like Blake either. Unorganized been solid since he came back from hiatus. I pretty much agree overall. Shout out to Zeke. Exactly. Great analogy. Thank you, sir. I got tired of that man, John. I can't stand his bozo ass. Unordinary and TOG are the reasons why I am not sure I ever want to read a webcomic. They give me the impression that webcomics fall off too fast. Not that I read either, just what I'm hearing. I actually like full transparency as a collective. Especially if we're talking about like Naver/line webtoons, I don't think many of them are actually that good. Like I kind of go for a specific thing. Like, oh, I'm here for the humor. Oh, I like the characters; they're pretty. Like, and then the first time when they first came out, it was a novel thing because we're like, it's like weekly manga, but it's colored every week. Like it was like that was part of the hype because it was always in color and whatnot. I actually think Tower God is like. I think you would enjoy Tower God, honestly. And Tower God is in a good place right now. Tower God has some rough patches, but I would challenge you to point me out to a series that never had a rough patch or something like that, or like a low point, or at least a point comparatively agreed to be the low point of the series. Like as long as One Piece has been running, you think One Piece has not been perfect from start to finish. I had some low ass lows. You feel me? But TOG's been good right now, and Kubera is an example of a series that's been running long. It's a webtoon that's absolutely fantastic. So, but yeah, TOG's pretty good. Surprisingly, it's like most webcomics have a section and it's almost unbearable to read. I feel that. I agree with you, Vince. Over 10 chapters is overstaying their welcome. Yeah, both are still leagues above most webtoons, especially TOD. I agree with that. Webtoons overall just aren't that great compared to highly scrutinized jump manga. And also, I think that a lot of these people are just like amateurs. Like
right. That's the truth, right?
Yeah, that's really what it is. Like. Okay, like I can draw well. I draw a webtoon, but I might not have no real writing ability or training or something like that. And it's just like, oh, I like his little love series, and people like read it and it gets popular, but it's not particularly thought-provoking or that deep. A lot of these people are just people who can draw really well and draw digitally that kind of win a contest, and now they got to write. and a lot of them don't really understand storytelling to that degree. It's part of the reason why I was impressed with SIU at the beginning, because he kind of self admits this in his blog posts, and he wasn't even a great artist like that then. His opinion, even though I like TOG Part One artwork, but I'm like, for an amateur, this is really good. So
Right. It's kind of funny because like I'll never know if somebody other than one person on my list, I'll never really know if some of these people are gonna write a second story. But I think part of the thing is with Webtoons, a lot of these guys, like you said, are amateur artists and amateur like writers. So in some ways, when they do certain things, I am impressed. But that's why all of them normally kind of have the same weakness. It's just that they get to a point where a lot of these stories feel kind of aimless. Like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing? What's like where? Like, especially when you had a point. Like, a lot of them are gonna have to get comfortable with the idea that like you don't got nothing else to say. It's okay to end this story. And it'll be rated a lot more higher because like some things everybody thinks they gotta have a part two or a continuation of their universe. And they really don't. Like you don't gotta do that. But I also understand too, I try to be somewhat sympathetic to the fact that this ends up becoming their livelihood. So maybe sometimes they're going because they just they need the money or something.
yeah,
And I don't know how much people are getting paid. But I would really like to see some of these guys in and write a second story or something like that. And that's what I would like. But I understand when you have this popularity and stuff like that, sometimes you just drag it on as long as you can. But I feel from a storytelling perspective and from a writing perspective, that's not good.
have to remember that this is still relatively like new. Like I know like we're like, as humans our perspective of time is whatever, but like webtoons have really kind of only really been like growing and been around for about a decade, I would say, really,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And you have to understand that like that's still very young for a new thing. Like something like Shonen Jump has been out for decades. It has an established structure and things of that nature, so just don't forget that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's facts. And also they just seem to not the people who control line or whatever, they seem to not really care unless it's like a romance so far. And that's got to change at some point if they want to grow their medium and their website and stuff like that. Because romance is nice and all, but like at some point, if you were to draw in the other demographics, you're gonna have to do more than that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Except Kubera, go to this reading chat real quick. Webtoons designed to go as long as possible. It's not. I don't know. I'm not sure about how it's translated, but I'm not fond of a TOG dialogue. I'm not even gonna open that can of worms, but I don't disagree with you. One Piece dirt low right now, my G. One Piece one of them lows right now. Absolutely in the mud. Still reading though. I need to finish my Kubera catch up. Yes, face. Get here. Well, from that I understand it's easy to make a web comic, so it makes sense. One Piece needs a break. One Piece needs to go right now. Gintama never misses. See, I'm not mad at that because Gintama is one of my favorites. But there's tons of people who cannot get into Gintama because of the way that it's structured. So, like, personally, I'm with you. But on an overall grand scale, I actually would have to disagree. But so even there, but I hear you. When I commission SAU from you, love harem smut series. Yeah, I'm in there. Saying amateur for 500 chapters isn't really nice, unimpressive. Like I meant when he first started out because he was very new to it. I think now he has a grasp. He's been doing it for like a decade plus, so he gets it now. But yeah, never being lazy. I think okay, because there's no need to convince editors and publishers. Webtoons have no quality control compared to manga. That's fair. There are lots of complaints on editors and Naver questioning whether they actually work, but jams will be jams regardless of manga webtoon. A work of genius is the work of genius, like Kubera. Yeah, oh, he's spitting. From what I got, most stories get bad when you drag it on with no new ideas, and you have too many ideas that don't want to let go any of them, so it gets convoluted and you can't handle it. I don't know, because a lot of these webtoons that are very popular are more love, slice of lifey stuff. Like the very deep fantasy ones aren't really like, they're kind of ones you kind of look for. I still think Noblesse, while it's formulaic, is fine. If you're there for what you're there for, Tower of God is good. Kubera is good. A lot of people really like God of High School. Now, God of High School lost its thing with me because I wasn't fond of like the powers. Like I liked the initial tournament with. Remember he was fighting the guy with the northern taekwondo and he had the whatever taekwondo. Like dragon started getting summoning and the pole went through the moon and he was Sun Wukong. They lost me. The last thing I really enjoyed was the guy with the green hair, who can like take abilities, and I think Park PO2 was like the QB, he was the key. Like that's like the last thing I really enjoyed. The second part of the tournament came around with Jin Mori's clone, and that's when they lost me. But anyways,
Facts.
we've been on 11 for a while. My bad. I'm gonna go twice again. I'm gonna do the shout out.
No, well, it's because a lot of mine are we already kind of talked.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard right now, so that's why I'm not worried about it.
So this is Love Sucks for These Losers from this black dude from Miami, Sir Lance. It's just honestly just like a shonen jumpy like self-contained series that he makes by himself with like Copic markers and whatnot and everything. But let me not cut Maria off. But yeah, I like the way he draws. I like the art style. I just want to have support. I just want to give it like a shout out. I'm not gonna like go crazy on it, but look it up. It's called Love Sucks for These Losers, or LSFTL. And let's go to my top 10. Starting my top 10, we're starting with Household Affairs. The art, man.
LOL. I couldn't believe this was here, but
Listen, I don't know. The artwork for this will have me tweaking, bro. I have to tell you, like, she is so thick, bro. Like when that guy comes to deliver chicken, and I seen her, I said, bro, I'm unga bungaing over here.
nah, she fire. I'm just laughing at this high because the plot is
it really shouldn't.
It's
be,
so silly.
You
bro.
know what I'm here for, and I get
Yeah.
I get what I'm here for. This man's an assassin, hitman type beat. There's like, you know,
the chicken delivery guy.
yeah,
like, come
then
on,
you got
bro.
the girl with the pink hair who's crazy with the bat. Like it just, I don't tell you. I just had fun. Like it is what it is. I am, yeah, Pornhub. Yeah, smart one Pornhub will be on this list. Hold on. Laura Olympus got a big audience. I used to read Laura Olympus. Webtoon is an audience for very young and easily entertained. I read that. Just an old info. Old Korean government wasn't really happy about manhwa, so it's like manhwa authors built from zero to now, but I'm not happy with the current Webtoons. That's interesting. You probably have a lot more insight in there. Are you from Korea, just as one, or you like just speak Korean? Because I know like your name in the front looks like Korean characters to me. I might be uncultured and don't know it. I only speak French and English, so. Purple Hyacinth, my favorite Webtoon, still reading Kubera, just around 100 chapters. Says it'd be good though. Okay, I'm with that. I really like the first tournament. That's exactly how I feel about God of High School. DOH lost it for me when the empty disappeared for like 200 chapters. Yeah, Gintama's a story that if you get into, you won't find too many low points, but it's something everyone gets into, so that's fair. Yeah, I agree with that. But Gintama is, again, it's a series that resonates. It's certain series that I read. It's like, this is like made for me. Gintama is one of those series. It's like Sorachi is like Naya likes this type of shit, and he did that. So like I can't speak on other people because it's such a personal enjoyment thing for me. Ooh, Pornhub Household Affairs. I'm putting the link up now. I feel that not matter at all. Chest busting out the seams, right? You see? Have I read Tibate? Tibati?
The beginning after the end.
Is that one I tried that one time on stream?
I don't know if you have or not.
Cultivation? Is that one?
No, I'm pretty sure that's the end.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't
That's the one that's on my list.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. Start with your top 10, brother. Let's go. Let's get it.
Oh man, we kind of talked about like three.
Did you want to just say something quickly and move on to 9 then?
Yeah. Hardcore Level Warrior. We spoke about it a lot. So Windbreaker. Okay. So Windbreaker, to me, this was like, it's funny because I read like Lookism and Windbreaker back to back. That's a lot of chapters, but I read those back to back, and Windbreaker was the better one. I like the characters more. I like obviously that they're racing, because that's really why I was here. Because I was like, oh, they're bike racing. That's something we haven't seen before. And I really like the characters. It's another thing, and there's mysteries here. I like the growth of our main character. What's this man's name?
I don't remember his name, bro. I'm sorry.
No, Jay. No, I got it. I do it started with a J. It's Jay. Cause I was finna call him like fucking like Joe or something. But like no, it's Jay. So I love Jay.
Just real quick. The joke that always gets me in time was Jugim's full name. Jugim Unko whatever throwing poop. I don't know. That gets me every time. And the sandpaper thing in Gintama. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I love the friendship elements. I love Shelly. Shouts out to Shelly. She's a GOAT. Another story. I feel like there's a lot of
thank you for the follow.
A lot of good lessons here. But some of this also has some of the same problems that Ordinary and Lookism have. Drawn out too long. and character arcs are very, very like. Another thing with like a lot of webtoons is just that with their character development,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is like it may take like 5 chapters for like a small little inch of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them gotta be better with moving stuff forward within the chapter too. They gotta spend 5 chapters, and that's sometimes that is killing you on a week to week basis. You're just like, bruh, they moved an inch, if even that.
I feel it.
So
Okay. Um, it's my turn. Is it my turn yet?
yeah,
No, I'm not just copying the line from that video game. From video game. Is it my turn yet? Okay, so bear with me, because this is not a very good series, but just.
oh lord, oh lord,
oh, oh no, listen.
that man said,
Girls of the Wild. This is also one of the very first webtoons I ever read. Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna admit to you that after the main character beats like the bully and what happened, this series just had no direction. I don't know what was going on for like 200 chapters.
yep,
But I love Moody Young.
yeah.
I
See,
went,
he's man
I went,
sick though.
I went from a Dal
But
merchant
at least you know what you're here for.
to a Moon Young merchant, and there was that one girl who graduated from the school and all black. She's one of those like enforcers in the blonde hair, and she was moving me. Honestly, I think it started off so dope, so crazy, but it just had no direction. There's a lot of things that happened when we went to the beach and some of the stuff with him and his brother, and then him learning about how he likes Queen and Queen being like mad rich and he's like dirt poor, and the dichotomy of that, even they liked each other and the complication they had. There was stuff to like here, but I admit, like this is mid. This is mid that hits for me. I'm not gonna act like it's a great series. I think the fighting was good though. The fight action was good. Action was cool.
Man, it was so interesting too because it was just like this whole thing with like girls being basically the top of the hierarchy and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then but it kind of devolved somewhat, so it's kind of like,
Thank you, Badger. But okay, real quick. I'll get time and good jokes. My top three are Northern Light, Kubera, and Weak Hero. I like Weak Hero. I have to catch back up. My pick is Kubera and the Ember Knight. I'm gonna look up the Ember Knight. Somewhat. Hey, what's up, my high and lows here? Yes, sir. What's happening? Character development. To see Bastard up there. Yeah, Bastard's good. Oh, there you go. Y'all said the line before he got to say it. I recommend Night Run. Just no, no, no. I'm not laughing because Night Run is bad or I don't like it. There was just a guy on Twitter, and for whatever reason, he's just the biggest Night Run stan I ever seen. And no matter what you tweet, what you say, what you're talking about, what picture you post, he would just pop in your mentions, quote tweet you or whatever, or just reply to you. Read Night Run. Yo, we should peep Night Run. Have you checked out Night Run? And just because of that, I just don't want to read it.
nah, that shit
You're
was
just so
crazy,
fucking
bro.
annoying. You're so annoying.
See, it's funny. Like this is gonna sound like a wild statement, but like Kubera is what Night Run thought it was doing, bro.
Oh,
Like for me, because the thing is, Night Run is kind of written on even though it probably got a little bit more fights than the art is worse. It's written on a similar structure, but my problem with Night Run that Kubera didn't do is Night Run is literally beating your ass with exposition in the beginning of the story. Like, I'm not saying it's not gonna lead nowhere
with good
great.
reason or bad reason, we say.
My problem is I didn't even get that far because I'm just like, bro, like Kubera has a lot, and it's definitely a dense series. But if that's a dense series, at least Curry Gum, I feel like goes about it a better way to start.
Mm-hmm.
Night Run just beats your ass from the first chapter. Like it throw you in there and starts telling you a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know like these characters.
What's up, Zodiac?
And you're hitting me with all this stuff, and that's my biggest problem with it. Even though it's probably a superb series with a lot to gain from it, especially as sci-fi, I just don't like the way that it started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I read, I want to say I read like 50 chapters maybe at some point, and like it definitely has some stuff going to it. Like, but it's like if people don't like Curry Gom's art and Beginning Tower God, they're definitely not gonna like Beginning Night Run's art.
Yeah,
They're definitely not. And yeah, it's way too much exposition.
I feel that. I don't like when webtoons screw up their stories, and recently it seems to happen a lot. Yeah, I feel that. What was really annoying though was the incredible amount of techno jargon or techno. There's a lot of techno babble too. Like when they just say a bunch of stuff that makes no sense. Like, oh yes, if I put this into space time continuum and they just start talking about nonsense and no sense. Like they just string a bunch of sentences together. Techno babble. The first time I really saw that was with Ninja Turtles. Donatello would just say some nonsense. I'm like, that's not a sentence. You just said a bunch of technology things in one sentence that made no sense. But anyways, they crammed the paragraph in the text boxes. I feel the sympathy for the translator of Night Run. The author is sick. That's not good. Too much exposition. Tower God got a high school hardcore level where consistently fluctuate between 4 to 6. All right, I'm okay with that. My guy Nara in the chat was popping. What's good with you? I'm gonna do 8. So then you just 2 do. I'm gonna do one more. So, you know what time it is. RRBA. Shout out to my guy Lawrence. Shout out to South Africa. Shout out to black people. So, this is a series that actually kind of blends. Like, it has a lot of smut in it, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, that good. But they be throwing hands. Like, they be fighting. Like, they be throwing hands too, right? So, it takes place on Mars. And if I remember correctly, people have certain powers and abilities. And Lars, the main character, is El Mandizi. What's his real name? I know his nickname in the manga in it. But anyways, made by the South African dude. I really like his art style. Like, you see this girl right here, Himu Hodosaki, her. I tweak bad for her. I'm not gonna lie. You might have noticed a comment right here that if there's one girl that I tweak for, I might be here for a long run. But she is so awesome. Like, I think she's a dope character. I like her storyline. And this series does tackle a lot of things I think is pretty interesting, like kind of like single parenthood, or like two people like trying to raise a kid when they're a little young, but they're not trying to be together and stuff like that. And I think the fight is actually really good. And this and Lawrence, he like definitely like has a very like large love for wrestling and anime. So there's a lot of cool little references, Easter eggs here and there that I typically really enjoy. And he also really likes music, so it's just really it's a really good series. Like, check it out. I'm gonna post a link where you can read it and stuff. You might see me on Twitter retweet some of his art and stuff. But one thing he does too is like he'll have like, you know how sometimes when you get a comic book, they'll have a bunch of like variant covers from other people and different like fan art and stuff. He draws so much artwork for his issues that like once you finish it, you get like an extra 10 just dope pictures and like color spreads of this characters lined up and doing stuff. There's high stakes, there's death, there's all of that in it. I think it's really good, but yeah, I love this series. She got a blunt in her hand. Yeah, look at her, man. Generational talent. All right, go ahead, brother. For number 8.
I'm gonna read that eventually. What's my number 8? I think we already talked about it too. So Ordinary, right? Yeah. Nothing to say. Nothing to say about Ghost either. Just go to your 7, bro. We talked about it though.
All right, back to me. Back to me. Gerald Candy.
See, I'm okay with this. Cause I'm not gonna lie.
Gerald Candy's the one that I think is one of the better ones with a good message. Because like he never got her back. Like he cheated infidelity and she left, and she did revenge, pouring on him and all that stuff. Like I thought it was.
But this is one of the. Yeah. Okay. No, I was just gonna say, well, this was a story. Cause I don't want to spoil the internet. This is one of the stories though. This feels like nobody was winning, and everything about this was talking. I feel like this was one of the first stories back in my early 80s. It was like was there a good message? Because normally when I think of stories, it's like, oh, the author got it right. Like, there's a message here. Normally it's a good one. Was there a good message in this? I don't think there was nothing good about this. Like, everybody in this was horrible people at the end of the day. And like, also I think it does a really good job of explaining that one trait that I think a lot of people in other stories they allow them to get away with. But in this story, I feel like if you're paying attention, it's bad. Like the character that clearly likes somebody that's married or in a relationship or something like that. Like, that guy's a piece of shit too. He always gets unspoken about because everybody else is far worse. But he's not a good person.
I agree.
Like you run around chasing after a married woman. You're not a good guy. Like, you may be nice or whatever, but like, you're a terrible person. Yeah.
But yeah, Drug Candy and She Is Young, I think, are actually legitimately pretty good stories, love stories, mixing with the and everything, whatever. But yeah, that's just why I have it there. But yeah, Drug Candy's cool, and I think she's bad. I like seeing her. And there was the blue haired chick with the one guy. She was like, harder, harder. She be moving me.
Yes.
She moving
I
me.
was like, what's going on? I was like, what's good with you, bro?
So yeah, make sure to follow Paper Hammers on Twitter. It's my guy Nar. Yes sir. Damn, not the Twitter link deletion. What happened? Oh, maybe because I think I have a command for that though. I don't remember though. All right, what's your 6? Because I actually don't know. I never read this before. So go ahead.
Yeah, scroll up because I'm not looking at it in front of me right now.
Oh, okay. It's of Returners Magic. Should be
Oh,
special.
okay, yeah. My. This is my baby. This is what I was spreading on the TL. A Returns Magic should be special. Now, this is another one of those stories where it's a reincarnation story. But to me, so far, everything I read, this is clearly the best version of it.
Okay.
Because one thing that I like about this story is he didn't just come back with the institutional knowledge and just made himself clear. He came back and made his allies stronger. He had a clear goal that he's saying by the time we get to the end of the series, he couldn't alone just be like, I can't carry all of you. If you guys are going to survive, I need y'all to literally get stronger. So he was training his people. And I thought that the story does a pretty good job of just like, even though he is stronger, he's not clear like a solo level in, or even sometimes with the beginning and the end does this pretty well too. But even then, it's just like he's not clear the antagonist he's fighting. Like he still got to work for it. Like he still got to put in the work and stuff like that, or just to get out of situations. And I just think the way that they go about the story is very interesting. They show you the training. I feel like everything is earned for the most part. Even though he has the institutional knowledge, it's still earned. It's not too cheap. I like some of the antagonists they got going on. I like a lot of the side characters. I think the action is actually pretty good, and I highly recommend this to everybody, to be honest.
Okay, I'll give it a look. See, the long naming, a sense of a web novel origin series is great, so much better than the usual reincarnate story. He actually tries to like better everyone else instead of being some weird solo edgelord. I feel it. I'm just trying to see if they read the gamer. We read the gamer, but the gamer's not on my list. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I've read half of the gamer. To me, it's just like it's
the gamer
similar to a lot of
lost
shit I've already
direction,
read.
blah blah. It's like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so 10 p.m. on East. I'm ashamed I like the gamer in the first few chapters. I mean,
Don't be
don't be ashamed.
yeah,
Like, you like what you like. It's okay. Like, I like the gamer for when I was reading it. I just you know did it.
Right. I mean, like, look. If you look at our list, some of this stuff, we know that like the objectiveness of it is not good. But like, it was like we looked at it, we just like, hey, man, there's a certain element in the story we like. We here. Solo level win. I knew what it was. Like, guys overpowered, like me and I always say. At the beginning, it legitimately felt like it was learned. It's just the problem with solo level is just that no other character matters at the end of the day. So it's kind of like I can't, if you don't like the main character or you just don't like these action sequences, you're not here for nothing else, because nothing else is going to give you anything to latch onto.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
But okay. Let's go. Let me go. Wait, you just did 6, right?
Yeah.
We have the same 5, I think, so we can just do that together.
Oh, that.
I'm not all the way caught up though, so don't go crazy. But
I'm not either.
Okay.
I'm not either. Don't worry.
Noblesse is my first webtoon. It's at 6. I have it at 6. Again, not saying it's the greatest, the best, it's the peak or whatever, but like Frankenstein for a very long time. I think right now he's probably hovering around 3rd. Was my favorite webtoon character ever. I honestly really love that dude. Like Frankenstein is a great webtoon character because to me, he's one of the first examples I saw. Remember, I started reading this, I'm going to say 2009, 2010. First time I saw a scientist or a character that's on like our side, like on a protagonist, whether or not you think he's a good person is up to debate. I would argue no, he's kind of a bad guy with all the experiments he's done. But to see him fight the way that he fights, where I'm like, thank you for just being logical. Like, do you remember one time he was having this battle and one of the elders or elder people was like hurt, and he threw the dark spear and the guy dodged it, and he aimed at him because he's like, why did you attack him? He was like defending, like, bro, what the hell are you guys talking about? He's weak. Fuck that guy. And he absorbed him, put him. I'm like, bro, he's so cold with it. It's like without Razzie, you have to be like, hey, yo, chill out. that man would be experimenting. Like, I love it. And I don't, not to spoil anything, but there's a specific thing with him and Dr. Cromwell that they have that I really love about it. The reason why I don't bash Noblesse is because personally, why I'm not gonna say it had the best ending, the final conflict with Cromwell and Frankenstein, I'm actually a fan of how it concluded, and that was one of the more important things for me in the series. Frankenstein's powerful, Darkspring go crazy, human. I love him, like his dedication to Ryan stuff. The fact that he'd be a principal at the school, they'd be stressing him out, like it's just a good time. I really like him, and he fights cool. And he will do whatever it takes to win. He'll cheat. Like I love it. I'm sorry. That's my guy. So he's like my third favorite. Like it's not Mule Love, Brilliant him, Asher. Like they're all like but like yeah, he's my guy.
I'm crying. Mule Love got to be one of the most like random characters that you just love.
Mule Love is the GOAT. He's the greatest. For respect.
Respect though.
The gamer became so redundant. I feel that, Lizard. Villainous Webtoons got me to chocolate right now. They're pretty pleasure for me. I feel that. No blood.
I read a couple though. Like there's some Webtoons I couldn't. Cause we only had 20, but there's like actually a whole bunch of other shit that are.
Yeah, we'll talk about some other ones just in general one day, like do a general discussion and stuff. Cause we read a lot. Trust me. Especially
not online and shit. Yeah.
Because I've read stuff from other publishers and stuff too, and just like random people. You're actually gonna see one very soon. I thought I should read a bit after the rest one day after Take Me Out from Nuclear Bomb today. I like the first season Noblesse. I feel it. Like Noblesse is something I was reading like pretty much weekly for a long time too. But it is very formulaic. Like it's literally this: the Union sends this elder and his goons. Oh no, we're struggling. Only if only Raziel and or Frankenstein show up, they show up. The arc ends. Next arc. Repeat.
Yep. Prepare
B5 from arc. The Union. We're destroying. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Oh, I'm so happy I remembered. Noblesse left a very big impression to me because it did one of the rawest things I ever seen, and I never forget because I hurt my knee reacting to how raw it was. Because like back then I had a desktop and like I jumped up and I hit my knee against the bottom of the keyboard part. I think it was, I don't even remember who he was fighting. But that man, he transformed, he turned big, he did all this shit, and Raziel said, kneel. And that man went on his knees, like, what happened? I said, oh! I started popping. It's like 10 years ago, it's like I popped, I went crazy. I'm crazy. I'm so raw in my life with the moment. I said, bro, he's nice. And so, yeah, I forgot, I have to mention that. So me and Vince have the same number 5. We have Purple Hyacinth. Did you want to start us off? And then you got up here.
Yeah, Purple Hyacinth. Love this story, man. Legitimately love this story. What they've done so far, because it's not early no more. Because I started this when it only had like 25 chapters. One thing that I really like about this webtoon, we haven't talked about this aspect of webtoons in this particular stream, but like I think they use their music very well. And
I was actually saving that for something else. I actually had it in my mind, but this is. I'm
not gonna touch on it too greatly.
This is a good. Like, no, this is a good time to bring it up. No, you're right though. Like, go ahead. They talk about it. I agree with you.
Yeah, because like normally I'm not somebody who necessarily cares for music because of the medium that we're in. Like I listen to music sometimes when I read, but I don't feel like I listen to a lot of music when I read something for the first time. Like if it's a reread, yeah, I might throw something on because I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to focus. I feel like sometimes music, even though I can't, it'll make it too cloudy and I'll be all over the place. But they made their own soundtrack to fit into the story to put certain things in the right like atmosphere, and I'm like, wow, okay, this actually worked, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
Did Red Storm count? Red Storm probably would have been my honorable or 20th if it counted. I didn't think about it. I thought it was a Manhue maybe.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's why I put it on here. If it was, it definitely would have been on here. But yeah, but Purple Hyacinth, I think this is like a how do I describe this genre? I think I describe it more as like a thriller. Like a thriller type series, and I think it's super fire. I love the art. The art is so unique. They look so good. Lauren is fucking great. Karen
this is made by 2 Canadian women, right?
Yes.
Shout out to my country.
Shout out Canada. Yeah, shout out Canada. The 2 Canadian women, and I think they were going to be doctors or nurses or something during this time period too. I know they were in medical school. One of them was. So yeah, I'm just like, man, you were writing this on the path of medical school. You bold, because I'm like, a medical school, that's a lot of work. but you got a passion, you do it.
Yeah. Purple Hyacinth is great, not too far, but I'm enjoying a lot of episodes around music. Yes, maybe I should try Purple Hyacinth. I definitely agree with it because like you have to understand that I'll speak personally here. Like when I have like usually like my top 5 and like top 10 of certain things are pretty solidified and things that have been with me for a long time that I constantly revisit. Like to me, the testament of something is good is that I go through different phases of my life and I still like it, even if I like it in a different way. So I'll use One Piece for an example here, right? When I started reading One Piece, I was a boy, a child. Then I was a preteen. Then I was a teenager. Then I was a young adult. Then I was a grown ass man. And now I'm old as fuck, right? Dusty. But as I grew and still revisited things in One Piece, while my perspective on things had changed because I grew and I was older and stuff, and my brain was maturely and fully developed at 25 at some point, I still loved it. And the things that I tend to like Avatar, are things that have stuck with me through multiple phases of life. I read Purple Hyacinth. I got 60 chapters in and knew this was already one of my favorite webtoons, easily. And that's very rare. Because even with my comic books, like for Monstrous cracked into my like top 10. It's like 6 issues in. And that's very rare for me. Something has to kind of be around for a while. I have to like it for a couple of years, and then I start to really like it. So, Purple Hyacinth is one of the reasons why I like it. If you guys know this, I love Image comic books. And this honestly reminds me of an Image comic book series. I think the fact that it's not being translated from any other language, kind of like more North American in line and stuff, like I kind of resonate with the themes and topics and the dialogue a bit more and stuff like that. And I just think it's great. Yep. I like the music. I like that when the gunshots come, when it's like everything too. The gunshots scared me the first time. I was on stream and I was doing that. I jumped. It just scared the F out of me. I think it blends in perfectly for this nice, cohesive, great read. So I highly recommend Purple Hyacinth. I wouldn't be surprised if one day this is like one of my favorite webtoons if it stays on track. I'm not all the way caught up though, but yeah. Ending is good. I might have time to straight read from start to end. I feel it. But all right, I'll do number 4, cause I have too much to say. Cause this is one of the ones I don't want to spoil too much. I always call it "Do you believe in magic?" I can't pronounce it. Anna Rasumanara. Okay, I tried. All right, I could never pronounce it, so I always just call it the "Do you believe in magic?" I like the first line that kind of sticks out. I love the visual style of it. You know what's crazy? I was recommended to read this after Les Fleurs du Mal, Akunohana, the manga, and I get why Ernest recommended it to me, but I don't really think like I see the overlap, but I don't think so. But I just think it was a really great story, small and contained. I'm a fan of brevity. When things are small. I love my 5-minute episode shows, 2-minute episode stuff. Small, contained. You told your story, you got to the point, you finished it off, and I like the lessons it imparts. I think it's a great story. The translation official messed off the drawings. Oh, come on, man. But yeah, that will happen. And that'll happen. That's how you get reference it. The bag that Kun, I believe it's a Kun. Is it the bag or the knife that Aguero had in season 1 was like a reference to this too? Yes, I remember. Cause on one of my subsequent rereads I picked it up. But yeah, Kun's bag. There you go. Exactly. So. But yeah. But who asked that earlier? Limit Breaker. If you're on my Patreon, you can watch it right now. The VOD's up there. Okay, go number 4, brother.
So my number 4 is Bastard, and honestly, it could have been rated higher, but it's hard to beat up the top 3. Bastard is one of those stories where I think this is, as far as I've seen from Webtoons, this author is probably the best author so far. Well, other than Kurigan. Mm-hmm. But other than Kurigan, this is the best author. They know what they want to do with their stories. They execute it. They get the hell out. And it's fire every single time. Bastard, especially that first read-through, if you've never read it, it catches you off guard. You think you know what's going on, and then he tricks you. And it just that plays a lot into the elements of my story. And also it's just he tells some pretty interesting tales that also challenge your morality or what you think on certain aspects of certain things. So I recommend this for anybody for sure, even if you like webtoons or not, because I think the art is relatively good enough, and also it's drawn in a specific way because it's like thriller and horror at the same time.
Hmm.
So I definitely recommend this one. Sweet Home's not on here because I have to reread it. I don't really like remember. I don't even think I even finished it, to be
I like
honest. I know
Bastard
it
more
ended,
too.
but
I like Bastard more.
yeah, but Bastard, yeah, I think I like Bastard more. But yeah, Bastard, really, really good. Highly recommend it. This author is really, really good at what they do. And yeah.
Number 3 for you. Go ahead.
All right, so number 3 for me is Tower of God. Now, most people probably would expect this to be 2 or 1, but my number 2 is actually something that I greatly rate higher than a lot of people, and I have my reasons, have multiple reasons. That'd probably be, other than Curry God, that'd probably be the story Tower of Love. But Tower of God, honestly, if you don't know, because I've said this before, but I have probably said it in a while, at one point, Tower of God was my favorite thing of any medium ever that wasn't Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings probably always gonna be my top one, regardless of medium. But Tower of God was like top 2 or 3 because I thought the beginning was so interesting. The atmosphere of Tower of God is mostly the thing that draw me in. I'm not an art merchant, and I really thought Tower of God Season 1 art had its own charm. So I never really understand criticisms of MS Paint and this art's not good. Because I don't know, for me, I ain't an artist, and I'm not somebody who's classified to understand art because I don't know what's good and what's supposed to be bad. A lot of people say this art style's not good. I don't know what that means. So,
Are you one of your Nate the card gimmick? The beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
yeah, basically for me. But Tower God had this super expansive world, this super interesting concept. The way it started was interesting. Just I loved all the characters that we met in season 1. I thought SIU did a really good job beginning of season 1, like being like more concise with like the themes that he was trying to portray with certain things, like the stuff with what's his name, Ho or whatever, the yellow
Yeah,
person, yeah, but about it not being him and Serena, and just like not being talented, and how he always draws it back to how that makes other people feel with Bam and stuff like that. And then and then season 2, most of season 2, and that's what I was peak Tower guy. That's how I met Nye in the first place. We did the Chicken Love podcast and the Chicken Love Club podcast. That's what we did every week with me, Simi,
I know.
Laz,
Some
Nye.
like Katana. Some other people are going through it, and they're like, bro, who are you? Who are y'all? Y'all were so different. And I was like, he was in his
Yeah.
he was in his bag back then.
Yeah, bro. That's when I had my or personas, the pill popper Vince, because I used to just spaz on certain chapters and certain people. That's why I had the Machini gimmick. I'm the number 1 original Machini artist. Y'all gotta stop lying, trying to act like y'all love Machini more than me. Y'all wasn't in the streets talking about Machini had a plan. None of y'all were there.
The
I
only,
was the only
the
one.
only thing
Everybody.
the only thing you have to give me is I was a fan of Data Machete. You have to give me that.
Yeah, okay. But I was the one. I was the one telling people that Machete was not gonna get packed up. Everybody swore she was gonna get packed up by Jigsaw. I was like, bro, there's no way she ran up here without a plan. And they just laughed at me. And guess what? Next thing you know, she had that man in the suspendium. But so yeah, but Tower of God, I still got a lot of love for this series. My biggest problem with Tower of God, it's just obviously I just don't care about what's happening. Not now, not what's most recently happening, because we've kind of gotten back to a point of
We're going run it up to.
of interesting, yeah. But like most of season 3, this whole and just the blog post just not mattering anymore and stuff like that was very disappointing with a lot of the things that transpired about this series, a lot of things that changed. But like, I didn't care about the dog art. The nest was mixed bag. Some of it was cool, some of that. This whole cat game stuff. I cared about Yasaracha. I cared about Calvan and Laboric, where that was going to end up heading. But it's just like a lot of the side characters don't even hit as hard in Tower God. Maybe because there's too many and they just don't matter as much, or just there's like a lot of characters that like get backstories that I just don't care about their backstories, even if they have a purpose. It's just not moving me. But for the most part, though, this still has one of the greatest stretches of all time of anything for me. And season 1 is still a 10 out of 10. Season 2 is like a 9 out of 10. So, yeah. So even though it's going through a stretch where I don't care as much, the overall story of it is still way plus positive. I'm just hoping that like over the next year or so, I'll get to a whole more stuff that I like.
Deep lore. It's like I'm wondering how you guys met. They got deep lore. Still,
Yeah.
Name Hunt to the Hidden Floor is one of the greatest searches ever. I agree with that. Preaching. If you didn't care, it wouldn't be 3. Yeah, 3's still high. Like, I think sometimes when these lists happen too, I think people lose a bit of perspective, right? You gotta think about and encompass all the things that we read. Me and him have read a lot of webtoons. So for it to just be top 20, even if it's 20, is still a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So for it to be 3 is still a big deal. And despite all the things that happened, it didn't really drop for him like that, right? So that's all you know. So anyways. My number 2, so this is the one that I kind of wanted to get into a little bit because this a little bit like Saint for Rent.
What was your 3?
A romantically apocalyptic.
That was 3?
That's 3 for me, yes.
Oh, I'm tripping. I'm still looking at the last thing. Okay, I was looking at 4. Yeah. Okay, number 3. Okay, we here.
So this is not something I know most people know about, right? It's romantically apocalyptic. So just like Saint for Rent, this is one of the first. Actually, if you look closely here, you'll see that the eyes here are like the glare here. It's like moving. It's like actually a GIF. And it's one of those series where I'm like, oh, they got like the moving pictures. Sometimes it's like thunder in the background and little movements like that. What is really cool about this series, without me having to spoil anything, is that it encompasses all the things that a lot of other webtoons started to adapt with the music, sound effects, and things of that nature. This was the first thing that I experienced that did all of those things. To the point, it has audio logs of all the dialogue in the webtoon. So you could choose to read it yourself, read it along with the voice acting of the audio log, or just listen to it. You don't have to do, like, you could do either or. Like when they're talking, like it's like Z Captain is talking, and you can like click it and like let's say like you're sitting back here reading it, and they'll like say the dialogue and be like, oh yes, the other day I was over here. And, like it's so raw. Like I couldn't believe it, but I think the story itself is pretty dope. But I will like it's. As far as webtoons, it's one of the better stories that I've read, but I really like the aesthetic. I like the audio logs. I like the music, like the sound effects. I like how it has GIFs and all of those things. So that be moving me. So that is what is the voice acting good? I think there's a couple of misses. I would say it's solid, and then there's some good ones, and then some of them are not great. But I honestly came a point where like it took two. Like I have the audio log playing, but I just keep reading, and once I'm done the chapter, I move on to the next thing because like I read really fast. But I really like a romantically apocalyptic. And since I'll just go and do my 2 just because Vince already talked about it. So Tower of God obviously is my second favorite webtoon currently of all time, and it was number 1 for years. Like dethroning that would have been hard. It just this season 3, the stretch of season 3, and so many things happening, just hasn't been moving me to that degree. I think we're on the uptick. I think it's really cool. Tower of God, when it was first introduced to me and I was first reading it, was unlike anything I ever experienced. This unique. It's like this tower was just the ambience of everything. It was just different. Nothing was quite like it, and I just loved it, enjoyed it, and to the nth degree. But I don't really feel like I need to really go in long about Tower of God, talk about Tower of God almost every video. So like, there's no need. You know how I feel about it. I think we're on the uptick. We're good, but it has officially been dethroned as my favorite webtoon. But it means a lot to me. I've been reading it for 10 years plus, or 10 years. No, I think it's maybe 11 years now. Yeah, 11 years now or ish. I don't know what month. Some month this year it'd be 11 years. And it has some of my favorite characters, favorite concepts. I still think he's great at a lot of character designs. A lot of things that SIU does really well. Still think he's great at showing destructive scale. When he zooms out and shows you how crazy an attack was, like with Yuri and Karaka fighting in Name Hunt Station when they're trying to cross the bridge. All those type of things. I love how SIU draws eyes. You asked me earlier if I noticed what he did to Bam's eyes. I did not, so you can explain that, by the way, if you want to. But yeah, man, it's just
okay. I would like to say something else on this, I guess. Even though we're not supposed to make the comparisons and all that, because I think everybody already knows what our top ones are. So like that, I'll speak on 2.
Do you want to see your 2 real quick though? I guess.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna just speak on this point between. Okay, so here's the thing, right? fundamentally, you can't really compare Tower God and like writing style to an extent because they're not trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why we could talk about Kubera's writing compared to Tower of God is because for us, at least, what Kubera and what Kurigama was trying to do, she is way more consistent, concise, clear, and like way better at integrating her writing techniques than than my boy SIU is doing currently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and my problem with Tower God, because to me, if I had to say what had a higher ceiling for me, even now, Tower God probably still has a higher ceiling overall than Kubera, just because of the nature of the action and just the type of world it is. Like, I would probably tell you that Tower God is more of my preferred style
Mm-hmm.
of just something I would have wanted to read because it's action and just the beginning atmosphere and stuff like that. And I don't even like he don't need to do say stuff that like all the interweaving and all the stuff that she doing like she's a separate beast with that, and that's not something I would have needed in Tower of God. Not the same. Like you got to interweave certain things, but obviously this what happens in Kubera is a 101. You can't do nothing about that. But my thing is and the biggest thing I'm comparing, because like I don't compare these series a lot because like it's always funny, but it's just like obviously people are like why you compare. My biggest problem, I think, the difference between like if I had to compare a writing aspect with Tower of God and Kurigama and Kubera, the biggest thing for me is just that, and I think I see this in your reactions. And I said it's one thing. The difference between them to me that Kurigama can get a side character and introduce a character that I wouldn't have cared about, and by the end of the arc, I'll care about them. And to me, that is the bigger difference right now between like Tower of God and Kubera. It's like there's people in Tower of God that are arc specific or just show up. Like I'll give you an example. Like when you and me we talk about the last station and who was it? The guy who ran the last
wheelchair.
station. Yeah. I was like, bro, like, do we care about that at all? No, we didn't care about that in the league. We care about him, his kids. We were like, what was the point of that? Or certain characters that we thought were going to be raw and then they didn't deliver, like Mr. Levy, Korean Riddler.
Levi, yeah. Scantron gimmick.
I don't have that problem with Kuriga. Even character that can
Vince?
I disappeared.
Yeah, going back. There you go.
Oh, okay. But Kuriga always makes me feel care about the character to some extent. But then again, I'll just leave it there for now. But like I said, I'm not trying to make a big comparison out of them. But I have to say, if you had to ask me what my difference between the two series were.
Bam's eye
Right.
sometimes becomes cross-eyed and it's kind of annoying. I actually think that he has that problem just in general. Like depending on Bam does look kind of ugly a lot of times this season. And I do think it's been more exacerbated. But sometimes I think when he draws characters from a certain angle, like a disc like that, he's not kind of good at making them kind of look the same way. They're kind of googly eyed, but it is what it is, But all right, what's your number 2, brother?
All right, so my number 2 is a series I probably talked about other than because we already talked about Kubera so much. Random Chat or Random Chatting. This story for me is a slice of life, and I'm praying it doesn't have the normal slice of life problem where it goes on far too long. But the reason that this is my most highly rated slice of life in this style of webtoon is because one, I think the vast amount of topics that it touch on themes is great.
Okay, good. Keep going. I have to catch.
See,
this is next on my list to get through properly.
See, I got a way different perspective of random chatting than y'all do. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I feel completely different. I know my perspective's not gonna be the same as any of y'all for reading this. But the vast majority of topics that they touch on, this is touching from things of the series has lost you. See, like I said, different perspective. But like, so the vast majority of the themes that it touch on are completely different. I think the way that it handles conflicts is pretty interesting. For example, there's one instance in the story that the main character and one of the other characters, the bully character, they used to be friends back in the old days, but because of misunderstandings, a lot of times that happen in the slice of life, they're not. And the story gets it where they kind of like forgive each other, but the main character's like, but yeah, but we not friends no more. We not cool no more like that. But like, I'll see you around. And to me, I love that. And I think that the main character,
Vince,
a lot of stuff
Vince,
is
don't forget what you're saying. Just real quick, guys, because you know our both you know both the number ones. I'm just posting my list here, in case you just want to go through it yourself. So the link that I just posted is that. Keep going, my bad. And I'm gonna post yours too.
no, you good. Yeah. And with what random chatting, what you see, he said don't lose the direction. I kind of already lost it. No, but I just like the way that a lot of things are like it touches from things as far as like dating, bullying, gossip, some of the normal Korean stuff with standards and stuff like that. But I thought it touched on more of like the dangers of like chatting online, like what people are different from how they are online to how they are in person. Like people pretending to put on a facade and being terrible actually in real life or just like switching up on you. And I like a lot of stuff is going, but it definitely is going to have one of the problems I think that it always has where every slice of life just unfortunately has a problem where it just overstays its welcome. But I like a lot more of the characters in this story. I like a lot more of the conflicts and where it's coming from. It's like the people that you thought were good are bad, and people you thought were bad are good. What else do I really like about this story?
How's the art?
The main character has some similar strengths and problems that John has, but I think it's executed better. Some people will probably still complain about the pacing, but I think out of all the slice of life Webtoons I read, this definitely has one of the better pacings.
Thank you.
Of it, because they all have pacing issues to some regard where they overstate what they're trying to do, but this has one of the better ones. You know, because he got his problem. Because like to me, you got to remember where he started from. He was a loser that couldn't get no friends, and he couldn't even talk. And he get to a point where it's like he still has anger issues and stuff like that. And to me, a lot of that stuff does not disappear overnight. So it happening or reappearing throughout the course of the story, that's never been an issue for me. For like, I understand that some people read stories and they're just like, oh, he going through this again. But like, some things are not solved in like one conflict. I know that's like normally the thing that happens in manga and stuff like that, where it's just like the character has a problem that's resolved within the arc. But realistically, that's not really what happens in real life. Like, you don't, like, I don't have an anger issue. And I'm just like, you know what? I went through this. I'm better tomorrow. It takes years and a whole bunch of stuff happening. So I just honestly, I like a lot of stuff that goes on there. I like the art style. I like Haman. She's one of the best female characters of all time. She's great. And it's like we're into a new world problem. But yes, I agree that there is a plot with the president and the main girl and stuff. Oh, the secondary main girl, I guess she is now, the orange hair girl that I don't like. That plot line, it seems that they're starting to do too much with that. But we'll see. If hopefully it don't go on too much longer, but I think it got a lot of good things going for it. But yeah,
Would there be a webtoon suggestion time specifically? I mean, I could suggest you webtoons if you want me to. I do have a couple. Like I did a couple of recommendations for a couple of series. I mean, it just depends. Like if it's a series that I think is that important, but I am actually working on a couple, so you will see. But yeah, I generally when I make these lists, I give you guys can always go and see it, right? And I try to explain my reasoning behind it and whatnot. So like in a lot of ways, sometimes this is me recommending something, you know, but by explaining to you why I like it. My case is moving you, it's moving you. If it's not, it's not. But they ask you what chapter you're on. You caught up to random chat?
no, not all the way. Last time I checked, I was like 160, 70. So no, I get where they
Max is on
coming from.
215. He said he doesn't really like it.
Yeah. I haven't read in a while, but like I understand that. Like I already saw like the little holes of what's going on. But
All right. It's Kubera time. Talk. All right, it's time. All right. You see Brilith in the front, yes sir. Looking bad. Pieces of fire. Altera, yes sir. Agni, I will beat your ass for Brilith. Okay. I will fight Agni to the death.
Jesus Christ.
I will rid the universe of all fire, of all flame, of any element in the periodic table that could be used to rate fire. I will destroy it. Okay. Right? This story is right up my alley. This story saved my channel. This story saved me, saved my soul. It saved my faith and belief in Webtoons. All kinds of stuff. When I hear people talking about the writing, Tagashi, oh my god, and blah blah, I'm like, this is who y'all should be talking about this like that. Her, Kurigam, top one, the best, greatest. I don't want to hear about Tagashi. I don't want to hear about Isayama. They're not holding a candle to her on her worst day and on their best day. They can't compete. They're not ready. All right. Funny series is extremely hilarious. Yet I do think that it's dense. One thing about this series, like it's not perfect because I think it's an acquired taste. I don't think it's for everybody, and you have to have a high level of attention to detail or be willing to reread a couple times to kind of get the scope of the series. This is not a series that I believe you can kind of just read casually and really understand what's going on. I think you can have a very surface level understanding, but to really get all the moving parts, you got to revisit it, you got to talk about it, you got to do your own research and things of that nature. And what I truly appreciate most about this series more than anything else is that I don't think that my time is being wasted. Sure, season 1 might be somewhat difficult to get through, but that is the foundational pillar for what everything would be built off of. So even if you suffered through those 100 chapters, the payoff is worth it. Your time's not being wasted. It's long-term payoff. It's not short-term. All right? Like, I don't think the artwork is ugly at any given point. I think it gets better. I think it improves. I think the way her backgrounds looked and how expressive and vibrant her characters were present from the very first season. Now, it progresses, and I think you said this too. I don't think that her characters are more expressive. I think characters that didn't used to emote that much emote more like Maruna, so you see it more often. I still think that they were always very, very expressive, especially like Elise and Ran and those characters and things like that. I think the artwork is good. I think I'm a character guy, and I don't think she has a bad character yet. I really don't. Like, I don't think she has a bad character. I think that she has characters I don't like personally, like Lorraine, like Ganhavra, but I don't think she has any bad characters. And she has this weird way of having a really good character, anywhere from like a 7 to like a 10 out of 10, and then she'll do something and just limit break them and take them to the next stratosphere. Brilith be an example, Asha be an example. I would argue that Ran and Maruna are examples of these too. Their characters are really good from the get-go, but just kind of get better. Her characters are dynamic. They're not static in nature. So as things are happening throughout the narrative, their ideologies, goals, and motivations and whatnot change, shift, or they might have to prioritize things over another. And even though a character might have a specific archetype, Ran, you're the comedy guy. It might not always be that way. Oh, Lutz, you're the very serious, pragmatic guy. Then you see him in the special chapters. That boy just chilling. He like, oh, whatever. I like a girl who's just like got her own independent. Like, it's so multifaceted, so multi-layered. I love how she explores the backgrounds and the history of it by kind of taking the characters and putting them in the past. I think she has a very great grasp and understanding of time travel and the many worlds interpretation theory, if you know what that is. Like, I can't say enough. I think Asha is one of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in fiction, bar none. So, before you go, Vince, let me just read the comic. My bad. I need to cut you off, but like I'll be powering up, bro. Like I'm just looking at Brilliant. Like I need to talk about this. Right? I'm trying to not move me right now. But all right. Kubera time. Now I'm gonna fight the God of Fire. Yes, sir. Best girl. Yes, sir. Kubera time. I'm amazed that Aggie didn't spawn kill those Aztecas. Kubera finna restore my faith in humanity. Yes. So just sent some to the 0th dimension after learning the fathomless fire. Greatest weapon ever. Yes, sir. Tagashi stray. Tagashi always gotta catch a stray or not a Naya stream. Asher Goat. To be honest, I think one of those things that where it's so hard to explain somehow good it is without having to give things away has to be experienced. I agree with that. Kubera saving humanity. It's hella acquired taste for sure. I agree. Kubera is one of the lighthouses that keep my faith in long fantasy webtoons. I feel that. It's trash. Season 1, come on. Season 1's not trash. Season 1 is a slow burn. I'm not saying it's not what you're saying is not a fair criticism. I do think you could criticize season 1 for being slow. You agree with that, Vince? Like I view
absolutely, but he didn't say that. He said it was. You said it was trash.
Yeah, my point is it's all meaningful at the very least. That's why I don't mind it. It's like the foundational piece for what everything will be built off of. Because without that foundation, everything above it will crumble and fall. So that's why I still have a great deal of respect for it. I somewhat struggled to get to the first season until kind of like a little bit before the night it rained fired, but still. And then season 2 was when I really hit my stride. Kubera is not a flawless, perfect series. I think it's a masterpiece. But there's a lot of things, like if you don't like the art from start to finish, I think that's a fair criticism. I still think that she handles a big cast really well, but her style of doing it I could see it be kind of messing with certain people. I've never claimed to be perfect, but again, it resonates to me on a level where not a lot of things do. But yeah, let me see. Season 1's very solid. Season 1 very good. Whoa, the Wavering King, one of my favorite arcs. I feel that. You don't like Gunhavra? Nah, he a bum. It's very solid and set up for next season. Maruna facial expressions were hilarious. To be honest, I love it. I never thought I would like Maruna. Curry Masterclass. This is how to make a villain actually reflecting undoings and change. Yep. Who the hell said season 1 is trash? It wasn't me, but I hear it often. Like actually, season 1's bad, but once you get to season 2, it's good. Like I've heard that a lot. I agree. I was so stoked to see Recon finish and enjoy season 1. I didn't even know he was reading it. What the hell? How did I miss that? I gotta talk to Recon. It's slow, but it's very solid, and you appreciate it so much in later season. And I honestly have to understand, I'm a patient man when it comes to my stories. I actually prefer a slow start. Because I think you've heard me say this before, friends, but maybe they haven't heard me say this. I find that series that tend to start off really high octane, high action, immediately like grab you with the fish hook, like chapter 1, 2, 3, spend the latter half of the series trying to regain that initial glory. I actually think you starting slow and transitioning upwards into that crazy, like people, oh, East Blue's crap, blah, blah, like East Blue's a slow burn into what the Grand Line would be like. I prefer that. Katekyoshi Hitman Reborn, for 61 chapters, is slice of life, the daily life arc. But if you're paying attention, it's slowly establishing characters, character roles, certain specific jargon to the Katekyo Hitman Reborn universe, the different mafia families, and things like that. And then, when Mukuro comes, she just hits the ground running because she's already done so much setup and establishment. All right, I'm rambling though, but yeah.
All right. So for me, how I feel about that is that I look at it like this, right? Depending on what time you started Kubera, you're gonna look at it a little bit differently. When you look at, like, I'm reading Kubera, I'm like, this got 500 chapters. So if it's peaking in the hundreds, that ain't good, bruh. like that's not good to me. So I'm not saying that like people shouldn't be interested from chapter 1 or anything like that, because you obviously should. But my thing is, a lot of things in season 1, there was enough elements of good stuff there, interesting stuff there, where I don't feel like it was a drag or a slur. Like I remember you had a similar issue too. When you first was reading the beginning, you were like, bro, like when is this gonna do something?
I personally thought she's a little overly verbose, and like I thought, but like again, I didn't expect everything to matter like that. So my opinion,
right, exactly, and recontextualized, it looks better.
Yeah.
But yes, I can understand if you're reading it for the first time, because some of y'all already got the itis from the art style, so you're looking at the art, you're like, I don't like the art. There's not a lot of fighting going on, so you're just mostly everything you're looking at is the dialogue and the character relationships, and she's really, really playing this for the long run. And like I said, this story also is a matter of perspective of how you're looking at this. See, I've always looked at Kubera from the way it was written after trying the first after a while. I'm like, this is like a book or a novel. So like this don't play how most webtoons in this medium is already playing out, and I already know. So like as this gets more to be mainstream and stuff like that, it ain't gonna be like, or if it does, it's at any point people are not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna say in its proper light, especially season 1, but they're not gonna be looking at it the same, especially if you're somebody who absorbs a lot of manga, a lot of other webtoons and stuff like that. Because yeah, it's not gonna come out the gate punching. But for me, it's always done what I needed to do. It's progressively gotten better over the course of the story every single time. She always finds a way up herself, or if not one up herself, find a new way to make it interesting. And that's all I needed.
She won't run from it. She knows that one of the things she wasn't great at was depicting action, and she worked on it. She didn't run from it. I respect that. So, yeah, I know it was meant to be a novel. Curry thought writing the novel. Yeah, the author of Perfect Half had written a manga called Dark Air. Not safe for work. Not safe for work is my favorite. Kubera finna be like 1,000 chapters. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be that long actually, but we'll see. Not possibly 700. I'd like that. I think we're 65-ish% in there. It's very so. But yeah, man, like long term payoff. It's just, it's great, man. It's a good series. Like I don't know what else to say. Like, but again, like it's not lost on me. Like certain things that are really like Monogatari and this, I do still think are a bit of an acquired taste, or you have to have a certain type of like I don't know patience to get to like the meat and potatoes. Because I know for a lot of series that are popular or well known, people want to get to the section that everyone's popping off about. The Marine Ford, the Coalition arc, the Dio versus Jotaro part, like all they want to rush there. And I think if you don't properly build your way there, those moments you don't earn it the same way. So, anyways, I'm a fan of writing and storytelling, and this is the things that I excelled at academically. I also have to make this clear because it's like I'm not an artist. I'm not a musician. I'm not a mathematician. I'm bad at geography. I'm not a historian. But when it came to critical thinking, deconstruction, and analysis, that is where I excelled at in school. Stories. I've written many articles, short stories, and all kinds of stuff like that. Like this is what I understand. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy. So, being able to read a story like Kubera, where I'm seeing a very high level of writing and storytelling, because I think you could be a good writer and a bad storyteller and vice versa. So it's just great, and I'm very happy that you guys put me on this for real. Like I'm here for the long run.